Proper and perfect must be the schedule of each days. Now it's Ramzan. Ramzan is a holy month, and we schedule every action of ours and culminate in the fasting of the break. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis, a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with, the main points in a nutshell. Syria conflict was appalled by Russia-China UN veto. Israeli tourist attack, Bulgaria shows bomber on CCTV. Huge spam botnet Grum is taken out by security researchers. Rural Chinese online as mobile overtakes desktops. Rajesh Khanna, thousands bid farewell to Bollywood star. The G4S security group song when corporate mission statements and rock collide. Now the news in detail. Syria conflict was appalled by Russia-China UN veto. Russia and China have vetoed a UN Security Council resolution proposing further sanctions on Syria, prompting an angry Western response. The UK, US and France said the UN had failed to people of Syria. Syrian troops have been mobilized to oust rebels from the parts of Damascus, and a bomb killed 3 senior figures in the defense establishment. State TV has broadcast the first images of President Assad since the attack, as he sworn in as a defense minister. It was not immediately clear where the swearing-in ceremony of Armed Forces Chief General Fahd Jassim al-Furaj took place. Russia and China have used their vetoes twice before over Syria, and UK Foreign Secretary William Hague condemned the action as inexcusable and indefensible. They have turned their back on the people of Syria in their darkest hour, he said. Under the Western-backed plan, the Damascus government would have been threatened with non-military sanctions under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter if it failed to move troops and heavy weapons from the populated areas. It was the use of Chapter 7 that stirred Moscow objections. It opened the path to external military involvement in Syrian domestic affairs, Russia's UN ambassador Vitaly Churkin argued. But US Ambassador Susan Rice said that any suggestion of military force was paranoid, if not disingenuous. The French envoy accused Russia of seeking to gain time for the Syrian regime, while the US said it planned to intensify its work outside the Security Council. With sporadic battles breaking out for control of Damascus, international envoy Kofi Annan has pushed the international community to take urgent and decisive action. The Security Council still has to decide whether to renew the mandate of UN mission in Syria, due to end on Friday. The UK is said to be revising the text of the vetoed resolution, proposing an extension for a final 30 days.
Time for him to go. It is time for transition in this regime. If there isn't transition, it's quite clear there is going to be civil war.
Israeli tourists attack Bulgaria, shows bomber on CCTV. Bulgaria has released CCTV footage of a man suspected of carrying out a deadly suicide bombing of bell-carrying tourists and Burgas airport. A white man with long hair and a backpack is seen walking around the terminal and leaving before the blast. The Bulgarian authorities say the man, believed to be 36 years old, had a fake US driving license. Israel blames Lebanese Hezbollah and Iran for Wednesday's blast, which killed 5 Israelis and Bulgarian driver. The suspected bomber also died in the explosion in the eastern Bulgarian city by the Black Sea. At least 30 people were injured, some seriously. In response to Israel's accusations, an Iranian foreign ministry spokesman said on Thursday that Tehran strongly condemned all terrorist acts. Hezbollah, a Shia militant group, has not publicly condemned on the issue. The reporters in Jerusalem said the attack could be part of a covert violent war between Israel and Iran. And there's view among some analysts that this attack could be a response to a series of recent attacks on Iranian nuclear scientists. The Bulgarian authorities released the security camera footage of the suspect on Thursday. Interior Minister Tsvetan Tsvetanov said the man is believed to have been in the country up to 7 days before the attack. We cannot exclude the possibility that he had logistical support on Bulgarian territory, Mr. Tsvetanov said without providing further details. The authorities are now trying to identify the man from DNA samples. On Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the attack was perpetrated by Hezbollah, Iran's leading terrorist proxy. Mr. Netanyahu said it was part of a global campaign of terror carried out by Iran and Hezbollah. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister warned that Israel will respond forcefully to Iranian terror. Israeli officials also stressed that the bombing resembles several recent attacks on Israeli targets in India, Thailand, Azerbaijan, Kenya and Cyprus.
Several hours ago we had a terrorist attack in Burgas and Bulgaria on a Israeli tourist bus. Hamas, Jihad or any other group under the terror auspices of either Iran or other radical Muslim groups.
Huge spam botnet Grum is taken out by security researchers. A botnet which expects to send out 18% of the world's spam email has been shut down, a security firm said. Grum's control servers were mainly based in Panama, Russia and Ukraine. Security company FireEye and spam tracking service Spam House work with local internet service provider ISPs to shut down the illegal network. A botnet is a network of computers that has been hijacked by cyber criminals, usually by using malware. Grum's takedown resulted from the efforts of many individuals, wrote Atif Mustak, a security researcher with FireEye. This collaboration is sending a strong message to all the spammers. Stop sending us spam. We don't need your cheap Viagra or fake Rolex. Bad news, Mr. Mustak wrote that on Monday he learned that a Dutch server involved in Grum had been shut down. He said it at least made a dent in the botnet. On Tuesday, the command and control server CNCS in Panama had been shut down. This good news was soon followed by some bad news, he explained. After saying that the Panamanian server had been shut down, the bot herders moved quickly and started pointing the rest of the CNCs to new secondary servers in Ukraine. So at one point I was thinking that all we needed was to take down on Russian server, but right in front of my eyes the bot herders started pointing to their botnet to new destinations. He noted that in the past Ukraine has been something of a safe haven for bot herders. Shutting down any servers that has never been so easy. Disabling Grum is just one of many high-profile efforts to neutralize botnets worldwide. Rusin Georgiev Avanesov was in May sentenced for 4 years in jail for being behind the Bredolab botnet, which was believed to have been generating more than £80,000 a month in revenue. Microsoft has been working to disrupt Zeus, another huge network responsible for, researchers said, millions of pounds of thefts. Rural Chinese get online as mobile overtakes desktop. Mobile phones are now the most common way for people to connect to the internet in China, a report has said. For the first time, desktop computers are no longer the leading method for the country's 538 million connected citizens to get online. The report from the China Internet Network Information Center, CINIC, said over 50% of the year's new internet users were from rural areas. For the first time, desktop computers are no longer the leading method for the country's 538 million connected citizens to get online. The report from the China Internet Network Information Center, CINIC, said over 50% of the year's new internet users were from rural areas. A fall in smartphone costs has been the key cause of growth, experts said. Mobile phones are a cheaper and more convenient way to access the internet for residents in China's vast rural areas and for other enormous migrant population, said the report from the state-linked CINIC. Mobile internet users now number 388 million, up almost 10% since the start of the year. Mobile phone prices continue to drop, the report said. The emergence of smartphones under 1,000 yuan, $157, sharply lowered the threshold for using the devices and encouraged average mobile phone users to become mobile web users. The total number of those online has risen 5% since the end of last year, many of whom are very active in cyberspace. Bill Dutton, professor of Internet Studies at the University of Oxford, told the reporters that the trend followed similar growth in other parts of the world. We are moving to what we call next generation users, he said. They are likely to have 3 or 4 devices in their homes. Therefore, they are able to integrate computing into their lives wherever they are. He added that the rapid adoption of mobile among the rural community was one of the necessity over desire. There's a wave of people coming online that would not otherwise be able to afford to be there.